Good morning, everybody. Our next topic is what was the impact of a colonial rule in a tribal lives, the areas of a tribal. Am I audible? Okay. So the before of the colonial rule, the tribal societies, they had lived in relative isolation for hundreds of years. They basically as isolated from the rest of the society, because in such tribal areas, forest lands, people were not preferred to move from cities towards the forest lands. These societies, these tribal peoples, these were totally as isolated in society. So with the expansion of a colonial rule in India, in Indian subcontinent, a great and a large change came into existence in the life of our tribal communities. Colonization not only resulted in the encroachment of land. Encroachment means illegally occupied the areas. Encroachment of forest land by the British, but also they had an adverse effect on the political, economic, social life of the people. So from the age-old traditions, such tribal people, these were isolated from the mainstream of society. When the British and the colonial policies, they expanded over Indian subcontinent, in which they started to encroach forest lands from tribal areas and affect their political, economic, and social life of the tribals. So in which as first, the tribal chiefs, those tribal chiefs which were responsible for the administration in their tribes. Each and every tribe, it was controlled by their leader, which was responsible to administer, to sort out the problems of their tribe. The British wanted to bring tribal changes under the complete control. So they also know the dangers of exposing them to the mainstream society. So the tribal chiefs were allowed to enjoy the traditional rights nominally under the strict British supervision. Such rights, these were generally as the hereditary transfer by the one individual towards their next generation. In this function, the powers of the tribal chiefs changed completely under the British rule. They also, their administrative powers and authority lose by them. They lost their administrative powers and authority. Earlier, such tribal chiefs, which were independently ruled over their tribes and solved their problems of our tribes, now they became as a dependent on Britishers. They followed the instructions given by the British officials, company officials. They had to pay a tribute to the company officials and discipline their tribal groups as per the commands of the British, indirectly as instructions given by the company officials, followed by the tribal chiefs due to the invasion of Britishers in tribal areas. The tribal tradition of joint ownership of land was disrupted. This resulted in tensions and conflicts among the society. Yes, Somil.
Yes, sir. Sir, ये आप क्या करा रहे हो? मैं
बच्चे, this is as an impact of a colonial rule in a tribal lives. Impact. How did the tribal life it influenced by the Britishers? It influenced by the company's policies, which has appeared on your screens. Yes, Manasvi.
सर एक बार रिपीट कर दोगे, मैं लेट ज्वाइन.
So how does the power of a tribal chiefs it lost at the early age when the Britishers they wanted to bring as the tribal areas under the complete control? For this they started to know about the what kind of a dangers it will be as a appear when tribal society it exposed towards the mainstream of society. Exposed means when the such tribal people it will be as interlinked with the other society in urban areas, then what will be their bad impacts? Britishers they were familiar about them. The tribal chiefs were allowed to enjoy the traditional rights nominally under the instructions, under the orders given by the company officials. Such tribal chiefs lost their administrative powers and authority. They had to pay a tribute to the company officials and to ensure the discipline at their tribes, to ensure the discipline at their tribes. It was as a responsibility of our tribal chiefs, but indirectly these were controlled by the company officials. Company officials ordered and instructed to the tribal chiefs for the administration. Tribal chiefs independently, they can't do anything. Clear? So the role of a tribal chiefs ended. Next one is the second. What happened to the shifting cultivation? How does the shifting cultivation, it was as ended in British age. The British were against of a jhum cultivation, means shifting cultivation. Britishers, they were against of the jhum cultivation that required the movement from one plot to the other plot. In shifting cultivation, those farmers or tribes which move from one place towards the other, one place to another for the search of a fertile lands and resulted the deforestation. The British found it hard to control the tribals who were constantly on a move from one place to another. To ensure easy control as well as a regular source of their revenue, they tried to introduce a land revenue systems. Britishers started to introduce the land revenue systems in tribal areas, through which the income generated from such tribal areas which were not paid revenue to the company. Under these systems, the British forced the tribes to settle down on the same place. As a result, they could measure land productivity, land production easily. The tribal groups, especially in the northeastern parts, they resisted this policy of the Britishers. Clear? Britishers, they refused the practice of a shifting cultivation in which a large number of tribes they displaced from their areas for the search of agricultural fields, for the search of fertile lands. Due to the movement of such tribes, it led to the deforestation and the soil erosion in larger in scale. To ensure easy control as well as a regular source of the income, Britishers, they started as the land revenue settlements, land revenue system in a tribal areas, through which the land revenue systems, the company's income, it increased, and the displacement which earlier occurred in a shifting cultivation, it restricted, because such farmers, such people, they started as a settled life for their production. settled life for their production and paid revenue every year to the company. So through this, a shifting cultivation ended in India. Shifting cultivation ended in India. Is that clear? Shifting cultivation ended in India. Now, as the forest law, enactment of the forest law. As the Britishers realized the importance of wood. Wood, it was generally used in British age for furnitures and construction of railways, construction of railway lines. So the Britishers, they realized the importance of the timber, which was very expensive at that time. It was expensive in European countries because of their temperate climatic conditions. More good wood production, it can only cause in a tropical conditions. In our country, there are the diversified form of a vegetation generally grows, which includes as a tropical evergreen forest, tropical deciduous forest. Mangroves are growing in a deltas of the river. Desert vegetation is there, alpine, mountainous vegetation. So there are a variety of a vegetation found in India. It is as the beneficial for the company. So it was obtained from trees such as the sal, teak, and deodar. SAL, sal. These are the varieties of trees which are highly used for commercial purposes. SAL, sal, TEAK, teak, sal, 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 TEAK, 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 and deodar. These are highly demanded for the commercial purposes, for manufacturing of furnitures. Sal, teak, and deodar. So as per the climatic conditions of India, which favorable for a growth of such vegetation, which highly demanded for the British purposes, British requirements to get the timber required for railway slippers, as well as increase their revenue, the British passed a number of forest acts. Forest acts means law. Britishers enacted a number of forest law by the mid of 19th century. These law extended the British control over the forest lands. Some of the forests which produced commercially valuable timber such as deodar and sal, they declared as a reserved by Britishers. Reserved means there will be no further invasion by the tribals. Yes, Manasvi?
सर आपने बताया था कि टिम्बर का सर बहुत हाईली कमर्शियल था, वो कौन सी कंट्री में बहुत ज्यादा इनकी यूज थी?
European countries, bache. Britishers worked as the intermediaries in between of European countries to export of the raw materials. India known for its agricultural production and wood, which was highly demanded in European countries. It's highly demanded in European countries for the growth of our manufacturing units. So in some of the areas which were known for the growth of deodar and sal, Britishers declared them as the reserved. Reserved means tribals can't enter in such areas. In reserved areas, British tribals, they can move, they can enter, but it can't harm to the forest lands. Means shifting cultivation can't do in such areas. They can collect the fuel wood, but can't cut the trees. In the other side, no one allowed access to these zones, reserved zones in search of the food or animals. Means hunting, it was as banned for the Indians by the Britishers. But hunting, it was legalized for the company officials. Company officials. As per the records, in 1901, there were total number of 1,40,000 tigers found in India. 1,40,000 tigers found in India. At the time of our independence in 1947, the total strength of such tigers reduced as 8,500. Why? Because Britishers, they killed tigers at a larger in scale. It was as a legalized for them. Killing of our tigers for their skin. So the Bengal tiger now presently is an endangered species. Endangered means if we will not protect it in present, then after some span of time, after 20, 30, 50 years, tigers will finish from Indian subcontinent. So tigers presently as endangered because of the hunting which was legalized during the British age. So the other forests were classified as the protected forest by the Britishers. Other forest, one as a reserved forest, other were as the protected forest. Protected were those where the afforestation practiced by the Britishers. Afforestation, planting of trees. Through the plantations of trees, Britishers increased the forest lands. In these forests, only as the limited number of tribal communities these were allowed to move. The life of tribals which revolved around the forest because their livelihoods depended on the forest lands. Livelihoods of tribals, it depended on forest lands. Yes, Rhythm?
सर आप रिजर्व फॉरेस्ट के कुछ एग्जांपल्स दे सकते हैं?
Reserve forests where the deodar and a sal, such trees, these were grown by the Britishers. Reserve, that was not given as the name to the any kind of the forest. Some of the forest land, these were as a reserved, protected for the growth of a flora and fauna. The life of tribals which revolved around the forest and their products was transformed as the British restricted their freedom to move in and out of the forest freely and curbed their rights over the forest products. Tribals were forced to move to other areas to earn a living. With the enactment of the forest law, the entry of forest communities in forest lands, it was restricted, which forced the tribals to move towards the other areas for the search of their livelihoods. Means they moved towards the cities as the construction workers to complete their needs. The movement of tribals to far off areas deprived the British of cheap labor resources. In order to solve the problem, the Britishers gave small tracts of land in forest to the jhum cultivation. To regularize their sources of revenue, Britishers, they permitted the limited number of tribals to practice as the shifting cultivation. They allowed them to cultivate these lands on the condition that the cultivation would provide the labor to the British as and when required by them. So as per the promise with the tribal communities, Britishers allowed some of our tribal communities to practice shifting cultivation. In such areas, such tribals, they will provide as a labor to the British industries. British industries. The cultivators were also entrusted the task of looking after the forests also. As laborers, they got very low wages from their British employers. Consequently, in order to sustain a living, the cultivators resorted or they borrowed the loans from moneylenders, traders, and contractors. The moneylenders who were exploited the tribals by charging the high interest rate on loans, the traders purchased goods at a low cost from the farmers and sold at the higher rates. The contractors gave them the jobs at the low wages. Means moneylenders, contractors, traders, all were tried to exploit tribals in their own ways. In which as a moneylenders, they lended the money at high interest rate to tribals. Traders purchased materials at a low cost from tribals and sold other materials at high cost. Whereas the contractors, they gave the employment at a low wages, low income paid by the contractors to the tribals for their work. This was as the impact of the forest law. Impact of forest law. Is that clear? Any doubts? Any questions? Any questions? Yes, any questions regarding it? Now, what were the problems with relation to the trade? Problems associated with the trade. Problems associated with the trade during the colonial policies. During the colonial policies, what happened to the trade? So the trade, which was as the main source of the income for company, for the Britishers, it was basically as a improved in 19th century. Mid of 19th century, the production of trade, it improved by the Britishers in 19th century. The initial response of many tribal groups came as armed revolts against their oppressors, such as the landlords, and dominant groups of outsiders such as moneylenders and British government officials. British government officials, because at that time most number of our forest products, forest resources, these were directly used as a trade towards the European countries. Hazaribagh in present day of Jharkhand, it was known for the production of a silk. S-I-L-K. That silk production, it occurred by the Santhals, S-A-N-T-H-A-L-S. In Hazaribagh district of Uttarakhand, Santhal community known for the silk production. In central India, Agaria community, A-G-A-R-I-A. Agaria community in central India, Agaria community known for iron smelting. known for iron smelting. It's known for the iron smelting. Iron smelting processes. Iron smelting means after when the iron ore it has extracted through the mining processes, their impurities are separated in a blast furnaces. By heating of a raw iron ore, their impurities are separated. That work earlier done by the Agaria community, Agaria. Agarias known for the iron smelting in India during colonial age. During colonial age. Clear? Next one as a social impact on tribal society. What was as the social impact of impact? First, as we discussed the political impact, in which the role of a tribal chiefs influenced by the Britishers. Second, we discussed regarding as an economic impact of British policies on tribal society, in which the shifting cultivation restricted by the Britishers and enactment of a forest law affected the life of tribals. Now, as the social impact, the small tracts of land given to cultivators did not produce enough for their families. As a result, some members of the family had to go to far off places in search of their livelihoods, especially in industries. Such tribals moved towards the industries for the search of their livelihood. They resulted in the breakdown of their joint family tradition. Such tribals known for the one larger family. That tradition was disrupted when tribals forced to go different places for the search of livelihoods. Means employment. So while some tribals were designated by the British as the chiefs, the other were called as the laborers. The chieftains looked after the reserved lands, while the laborers provided as the services to the company officials. This led to the emergence of classes within the tribal society. So some of the societies appointed by the Britishers as their chiefs of the others, and some of the communities they used to serve the society, to serve the other tribal areas, This was as the social impact of colonial policies in India, colonial policies in tribal areas, Clear? Now, next topic as the Birsa Munda. Birsa Munda, it is as an example of a tribal revolts. Birsa Munda, tribal revolts. Tribal revolts, these were generally started by the tribals on the basis of some of the conditions. For example, first, these revolts hardly enjoyed the support of non-tribal groups. The key features of a tribal revolts, which were initiated by the tribals for raising their demand in front of the company officials, So the first feature as these revolts hardly enjoyed the support of the non-tribal groups. Non-tribal people were not supported the tribal people. They were not supported the tribal people, means villages, cities, or the other individuals of India, they didn't supported the tribals against of the Britishers. Second, all the revolts identified their targets clearly, but this tribal revolt, people not having their fixed targets, objectives for which they can work. That's why the such kind of a condition, such revolts, they failed. They failed. They became as a failed. There is a one example. In 1857, the revolt of 1857 occurred, in which a limited number of Indian rulers participated. It's easy for the Britishers to suppress them, to control them. But afterwards, in a 20th century, beginning of a 20th century, when the Mahatma Gandhi started their movements in 1919 as a non-cooperation movement, 1921 as a Khilafat movement, 1927 as a civil disobedience movement, 1942 as a Quit India movement. In such number of the movements, not only as a one section of a society took part, all the sections of society collectively took part. Then finally, as India declared as independent by the Britishers. Independent by the Britishers. Why? Because now at that time, the complete of society worked against of Britishers. Worked against of Britishers, not as a one section, but in a situation of a tribal revolts, limited number of a tribal communities revolted against of them, not as a whole. So it was as an opportunity in front of the Britishers through which they suppress them. They control over such tribal people easily. Such tribal people easily. Clear? Now, as a Birsa Munda, which was born in the mid of the 1870s, 1870s, this Munda tribal community, it was inhabited in a parts of a Ranchi, R-A-N-C-H-I. Munda community inhabited in a parts of Ranchi. Ranchi presently it's in a Jharkhand. Presently it's in a Jharkhand. Rhythm, MCQs. It maybe has asked you in a MCQs. So Mundas known for they belong from the Ranchi areas. They traditionally enjoyed a preferential as Khunkhars. These were the brutal, that Munda community known for its brutal customs, dangerous customs. During the 19th century, many of our tribal Jagirdars, non-tribal Jagirdars and Zamindars migrated to the traditional tribal areas. They grabbed the land owned by the tribal groups. In the course, the tribals were compelled to work as laborers under exploitative non-tribal policies. Non-tribal policies. Clear? Non-tribal policies. Birsa Munda, which was born in 1870s, at his adolescent, he had heard about the golden age when there were no Dikus oppressors. Dikus as a Britishers, such oppressors were not present in a tribal society. He soon felt the necessity of a revolt against of the Britishers to regain the land and freedom of their tribal people. Clear? So this much for today. Any questions? Yes, any law?